There is a practice that Jesus performed every single morning at the precise moment when the first light begins to appear on the eastern horizon, when the sky still holds the deep blue of night, but the darkness has already begun its surrender to dawn. A practice so specific, so precise in its three movements of breath and body, that the Coptic manuscripts known as the Books of Jeu describe it with the exactness of a technical manual, specifying the position of each part of the body, the rhythm of each breath, the quality of awareness that must accompany each inhale and each exhale. 3 breaths, 3 specific gestures, practiced at the exact threshold between night and day. And according to these 2nd century manuscripts preserved in Egyptian desert jars, these 3 breaths have the capacity to accomplish something that reaches far beyond what conventional spiritual practice has ever offered. They anchor the substance of the Plērōma directly into your physical flesh, into your cells, into the very matter from which your body is constructed. The Plērōma. The word arrives from ancient Greek, carrying the meaning of fullness, totality, the complete and undivided sum of all divine light. In the Gnostic cosmology that Jesus taught privately to his most advanced disciples, the Plērōma exists as the original dimension of pure light from which every human soul descends into material form. It is the reality behind the reality your physical senses perceive each day. And according to the Books of Jeu, there exists a specific window each morning, a window of approximately 30 minutes, beginning at the first indication of light on the eastern horizon, during which the membrane separating the material world from the Plērōma reaches its thinnest state. The ancient Coptic texts call this the high tide of the Plērōma, the moment of greatest flow, the moment when divine light presses most urgently toward the material plane, and when the human body, properly positioned and properly breathing, becomes capable of receiving that light as a physical substance that enters through specific points, the manuscripts call gates of light and anchors, permanently in the tissues and cells. This understanding remained within Hermetic initiatory circles for centuries, carefully preserved outside of general transmission. When the official Christian tradition of the 4th century established the boundaries of what would reach the general population, this specific comprehension of the human body as a sacred instrument capable of directly receiving and permanently anchoring divine light stood as too immediate, too liberating, too complete in itself. The understanding that every human body already carries the architecture necessary to receive the Plērōma directly through precise breath practiced at a specific moment each day, required no intermediary, no institution, no external ritual administered by appointed authorities. The texts were placed in clay jars and buried in the Egyptian desert, preserved, waiting for the moment when humanity would be ready to receive what they contained. What you are about to learn this morning is the content of those jars. Leave in the comments how old you are and from which country you are watching this, because what the next minutes carry will change the way you inhabit your body and experience every dawn for the rest of your life. Like this video, so that this knowledge reaches every sincere seeker the algorithm can find. And subscribe to this channel if you want to continue receiving teachings that remained outside the official transmission for centuries. To understand why these 3 breaths function specifically at dawn, you need to hold the understanding that the Books of Jeu offer about the mechanics of Plērōma light. Divine light, according to these manuscripts, moves through cosmic rhythms of intensity and receptivity, much as ocean water moves through the rhythm of tides. The period beginning at first light on the eastern horizon and extending through the first 15 minutes after the sun appears completely above the horizon corresponds to what the Coptic texts identify as the high tide of divine flow. During this window, Plērōma light presses into the material plane with its greatest daily intensity, and the human body, according to these texts, carries specific receptors for exactly this light. points on the surface and interior of the body that the manuscripts call gates of light, which activate and open in response to conscious breath practiced with precise bodily positioning during this exact window each morning. The Books of Jeu occupy a specific position in the Gnostic corpus that makes them particularly valuable as a source for practices rather than cosmological narrative. Where other Gnostic texts record conversations and teachings in the form of dialogue, the Books of Jeu carry the character of a precise technical manual. They describe with remarkable specificity the initiatory procedures, the energetic patterns, and the breath practices that Jesus transmitted to the innermost circle of his disciples. In one of the most significant passages of these manuscripts, Jesus says to those gathered around him, "The one who moves the body in the direction of the light at the moment of opening receives in the flesh the substance of the Plērōma. And that substance transforms the flesh from within, moves the body in the direction of the light at the moment of opening." These two conditions together define the three sacred breaths, the precise positioning of the body, and the precise timing within the daily cycle of light. Before the three breaths themselves, the Books of Jeu describe a preparation that requires 3 minutes and establishes the internal and physical state necessary for the breaths to produce their complete effect. Stand with bare feet, making direct contact with the ground, whether earth, stone, or the floor of your room. This direct contact creates what the texts describe as the grounding connection, the foundational polarity of the circuit through which Plērōma light will flow from above downward and anchor in matter through your body. Turn to face east, toward the direction from which the sun rises. The energetic orientation remains fully valid even when you practice indoors without a direct view of the horizon. Allow your eyes to close. Draw 3 deep breaths, each one entering through the nose and releasing through the mouth. With each inhalation, hold the awareness that you are drawing the light already accumulating on the eastern horizon into your body with the breath. With each exhalation, allow any remaining density from the night to leave with the air. When the third exhalation is complete, open your eyes with gentleness. The preparation is complete. The 3 sacred breaths begin now. The first sacred breath carries the name, the breath of the column, and the Coptic manuscripts call the gesture that accompanies it the gesture of the tree of the Plērōma. This breath establishes your spine as the primary channel through which divine light will flow into your physical body. Stand with your feet at shoulder width, arms resting at your sides. Begin a slow and full inhalation, and as the breath enters, raise both arms simultaneously outward from your sides in a wide arc, tracing the shape of a tree whose branches reach upward until your palms meet above your head with fingers interlaced, arms fully extended, both hands pointing toward the sky. Your body forms a complete vertical line from the earth beneath your feet to the highest point of your extended arms. The Books of Jeu call this the sacred axis, the living pillar of light connecting the material world to the Plērōma through the instrument of your physical body. Hold this position through 7 complete breath cycles. During each inhalation, hold the living awareness of golden light entering through the joined palms of your raised hands, descending through your arms, traveling the entire length of your spine from the topmost vertebra to the base, filling each disc, each nerve, each millimeter of your vertebral column with luminous substance. During each exhalation, that light expands outward from your spine in all directions, reaching every organ, saturating every cell. When the 7th exhalation is complete, lower your arms slowly through the same arc, returning them to your sides. The first sacred breath is complete. Your spinal axis is established as a living channel of Plērōma light. The second sacred breath carries the name, the breath of the heart, and the manuscripts call its accompanying gesture the gesture of the emitter of light. This breath activates your physical heart as what the Coptic texts describe as a secondary sun, a center of active irradiation that begins transmitting Plērōma light outward into the world surrounding you. From your standing position, bring both hands to the center of your chest, one palm resting over the other, directly over your heart. Stay here through 3 full breath cycles. During these 3 breaths, bring your full awareness to the sensation of your heartbeat beneath your palms. Allow the felt rhythm of that beat to become the rhythm upon which the Plērōma light will begin to pulse and resonate. On the 4th inhalation, beginning from the center of your heart, open your arms slowly outward to both sides, as if unfolding wings, extending them fully until they form a perfect horizontal line, palms facing forward, fingers alive and open. Your body now forms a cross of light. The vertical axis established by the first breath and the horizontal axis of this second breath intersect precisely at your heart center. Hold this extended position through 5 complete breath cycles. During each inhalation, feel the Plērōma light concentrating in your heart, building in brightness and intensity the way a flame builds when fed with steady air. During each exhalation, that concentrated light radiates outward from your heart, through both extended arms and beyond them, moving through the space around you in all directions, the way a sun radiates its light without effort, without reservation, without diminishment. When the 5th exhalation is complete, bring your hands back to rest over your heart. Remain here through 3 additional breath cycles, feeling the warmth that has gathered beneath your palms. The Books of Jeu describe this moment as the ignition of the emitter, the point at which your physical body begins actively radiating the substance of the Plērōma into the material world around you. The 3rd sacred breath is the most complete of the 3, and the Books of Jeu give it the name, the breath of sealing, with its accompanying gesture called the gesture of definitive anchoring. This breath completes the entire sequence by sealing the Plērōma light that has entered through the first breath and begun radiating through the second, drawing it downward into permanent anchoring in the densest physical tissues of your body, so that its transformative effect continues operating through all the hours that follow your morning practice. From your standing position with hands resting over your heart, begin moving both palms slowly downward along the central line of your body, passing over the solar plexus, continuing past the navel, until both palms come to rest on your lower abdomen with fingers pointing downward toward the earth. The Coptic texts call this region of the body the root vessel, the area of greatest material density, and therefore the area where the anchoring of divine light requires the greatest deliberate intention. With palms resting gently on the lower abdomen, perform 3 anchoring breath cycles, each one following a specific pattern. The inhalation is brief and full of power, drawing the air in with a single decisive contraction. The retention is extended, held through a count of 12 slow beats. The exhalation is long and absolutely complete, emptying the lungs entirely before the next cycle begins. During each 12-count retention, press your palms with gentle deliberateness against the lower abdomen and hold the vivid awareness of all the light that has entered and moved through your body during the first 2 breaths, now gathering, condensing, concentrating into a single sphere of dense golden brilliance at the exact point beneath your palms. This sphere of anchored light is what the Books of Jeu call the deposit of the Plērōma in the body, the living reserve of divine substance that your physical body will draw upon through all the hours that follow, for restoration, for creative power, for the passive radiation of light into every space and relationship your day brings you. When the 3rd anchoring exhalation is complete, bring your hands to rest one final time over your heart. Allow your head to incline forward in a gesture of quiet gratitude. Remain in stillness for 30 seconds. The 3 sacred breaths are complete. The Plērōma is anchored in your flesh. The signs that this practice is taking root in your body arrive in a specific progression. In the first days, you will notice a quality of morning energy that differs from anything you have experienced through other means. It carries none of the nervous quality of stimulants and none of the forced quality of intense physical effort. It arrives as a steady, serene presence that remains consistent through the morning hours and beyond. A sense of your body feeling more fully inhabited, more genuinely present, more real in a way that language approaches but does reach completely. In the first week, your body begins responding to the pressures and demands of daily life from a different internal state. Circumstances that previously produced muscular tension, constriction in the chest, or heaviness in the abdomen begin moving through your system with greater ease, because the light anchored in your body through this practice operates as a field of physiological coherence that maintains your systems in greater equilibrium under external pressure. By the second week, the people in your daily life begin registering something different in your physical presence. The change they perceive arrives through no particular thing you say or do. It lives in the quality of what they feel when they occupy the same physical space as you. The Books of Jeu describe this as the secondary irradiation of the Plērōma, the natural transmission of anchored divine light from your field into the energetic fields of those around you. By the third week, you begin experiencing what the Coptic texts call the bodily recognition of origin, moments that arrive spontaneously without any active practice, in which your physical body remembers its connection to the Plērōma with a directness that bypasses mental processing entirely. These moments arrive as waves of deep and causeless well-being, as gratitude that has no particular object, as love that simply radiates from your center without requiring any external trigger. If you bring these 3 sacred breaths to every dawn, for 40 consecutive mornings, facing east, barefoot when the circumstances allow, you will arrive at what the Books of Jeu describe as the transformation of the vessel. Your physical body will have absorbed and anchored so much Plērōma light through consistent practice that its material nature begins shifting in ways that become perceptible both to you and to those around you. The Coptic texts say that the body which has received the sealing of the light becomes a body of dual nature, simultaneously material and luminous. This is the understanding that illuminates what the Gospel accounts describe as the Transfiguration on Mount Tabor. The physical body of Jesus became radiant because through years of this precise practice at dawn, his tissues had absorbed and anchored so much Plērōma light that the matter itself began to shine. That event was a demonstration of what becomes available to any human being who applies this morning technology with consistency and precision. The capacity was always yours. The practice was always available. The dawn arrives every morning with the same invitation. This morning or tomorrow at first light, if tonight has already moved past the window of the high tide, you carry a choice that every dawn renews. You can allow the threshold of light to pass while you sleep or while your attention rests on a screen. Or you can rise as the sky begins its shift from deep blue to the first gold. Face east, remove your shoes, and bring 3 sacred breaths to your body the way Jesus brought them to his body at every dawn. The breath of the column to establish your spinal axis as a living channel of divine light. The breath of the heart to ignite your heart as a secondary sun of the Plērōma. The breath of sealing to anchor that divine substance permanently into the matter of your flesh. 15 minutes, 40 dawns, and your body will carry the memory of what it has always been, a temple of light, a living anchor of the Plērōma in the material world. Write in the comments, "I anchor the light of the Plērōma," and share this with someone whose body is ready to remember.